Hello, everybody. All right, sorry. I know this is such a shocker because it's Mercury retrograde, but I'm having a little computer issues. I know. Where is? There it is. There it is. All right. I think now people can hear me. So I hope everybody is doing well tonight. So much fun. Sorry, you guys. Again, computer issues. And there's a cat laying across my stuff. I know it's such a shocker that there's a cat in here. So, good evening, Kelsey. I have a new. We're still going to do some spell work tonight because you know that's what metaphysical practices is about. But I wanted to tag in something that has been bothering me. Like, I've been talking to some of my clients, and I forgot to touch up my lipstick. It's like bothering me a little bit. Hey, Alethea. So you know what? I'm just gonna be like real trashy and just touch up my lipstick right here in front of all y'all. There we go. All right. I feel like I can perform now. I have my lipstick on. Yeah. So the cat is laying right here, even though I've like cleaned off a big old space for him. But this is Patches. I don't know if you guys have met. He's the newest addition, the young kitten. So we've got some interesting things going tonight. I want to talk about, well, first I want to say thank you so much to Carrie Rodriguez at La Hermosa Bruja for letting me go live on her channel, and for Mystic Lee for letting me go live on Mystic Path. Thank you so much, both of you beautiful ladies, and I really, really appreciate it. So, you know, just broadening our horizons here a little bit. It's fun. So tonight we're going to talk about some tree magic, but we are going to address something that I have been dealing with my clients. Several of my clients were talking about releasing because you know how I always talk about, we release from the full moon to the new moon. As the moon is waning, we let go of what no longer serves us. As the moon is growing from the new moon to the full moon, we manifest. Hey, Tammy, how are you? We add in as the moon is adding, and we let go as the moon is letting go. Now, again, depending on where you are in the world, we are going into this fourth quarter moon in Pisces on Sunday. Now, I know I've been talking a lot about the second and fourth quarter moons because I think that it's just so important with that balance issue. So tonight, when I was, this week, I've been talking to like a lady that has been releasing, and she's just like, releasing this is just really hurtful. It's just like there's a lot of pain and blah, 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 blah. And it occurred to me that she's not mourning what she's releasing. So I addressed that with her, and I was like, why aren't you mourning this? She's like, but it no longer serves me. And I was like, it doesn't matter. It served you for a long time. It worked for you for a long time. That relationship worked for you for a while. That attachment worked for you for a long time. Now you're releasing it, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to say a proper goodbye to it, right? I mean, okay, let's think about losing a limb. If you have a limb that is, like overly injured or gangrene, or, something that's really hard, something that's really bad, but it is no longer serving you. In fact, it may cause you more pain. It may cause you more issues in the long run if you keep it. Okay, so you have it removed surgically. You go through that healing process, the physical healing aspect, but you have to go through the spiritual healing process of mourning that lost appendage. So you can do the same thing in whatever it is that you're attached to, whether it's your car. Okay, y'all, I have a 1997 4Runner that I am so attached to. We had to get a new car in 2021, and that was my very first. It's new-ish. It was still used. It was a 2017. So I got a new car in 2021. So I went from a 1997 to a 2017. The 1997 is still sitting in my driveway. We still drive it. But it may be time for me to release her. So I think that even though she's not an animate object, it was something that I was attached to for many years, and I had many adventures in that car. So we need to think about mourning the loss. We need to mourn properly. All right, animals mourn. Why shouldn't we mourn? That's a natural process. Okay, so we're going to do some tree magic with that tonight. Oh my gosh, Tammy, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot about your son's accident because I just see the light all around him, you know? And so I know, like, it's there, but see, I forgot about your son's accident. This is so important that, yes, you're right. He does need to address that. And now we can all help him, okay? Hey, Bobby! Hey, Bobby! Oh my gosh. Yeah. It took me about a year, Kelsey, to get used to like the whole thing with like a new car, not just a new decade, but like a new millennium car. Yeah. It's like, you know, you just sit back and you're like, buyer's remorse, really. Yeah. But I'm adjusting. And yes, Bobby, you're right. I mean, it was Toyotas were sweet in the 90s. So let's just like get into the mood here. Let's see how we're gonna get started. We are gonna bring in some of this tree magic. We're gonna talk about trees, and I think that I think this is gonna be really important, you know, because again, with the harmony and the balance, it's really important. Hey, Kathy. No, I'm on Facebook and YouTube. I'm actually on several different channels. So, Merry Meet, Sherry Ann. So depression is a terrible thing. Hey, Jason, Tammy, depression is a terrible thing. So let's work through this because depression, he's angry. He's angry, and we need to sort of like, we need to rotate this around. Okay. So let's see how we're gonna get through this. All right. So, ooh, I like this. This is Wish Upon a Star 39. So what is that? 12? Yeah, 12. So this is communication because 12 breaks down to a 3, and that's communication. So Wish Upon a Star. This is how we're gonna start off. Doing good. I know. Oh, sorry, Patches. I didn't mean to let the card hit your tail. I mean, see, look at this. He's just barely, he's like, he twitched his tail and now he's still sleeping. Sorry, it just cracks me up. And then Jasmine's like tap dancing over here. I don't know what she's doing. Okay. Endless Possibilities is our next one. So we're going to wish upon a star. We're going to acknowledge that there's endless possibilities. And this is an 11. How interesting that we're going from a 12 to an 11. We're going from communication to intuition. This is fantastic. This is a great, great card. So wish upon a star, endless possibilities. All right, Patches, what do we got next? Birds of a feather. Okay, so we're congregating. You know, we're congregating, we're coming together. This is a 7 card. I do have my glasses out. Yeah, I'm needing them today. So this is a 7 card. This is a very spiritual number because 7 is about spiritual expansion. It's about spiritual growth. And sometimes that has to do with releasing and mourning. So let's talk about this. Now, I don't want to say it's easy. But when somebody passes away, we have it's like we're given an opportunity to mourn. We're given an opportunity to acknowledge them. We're given an opportunity to say, hey, this is what they did for me in my life, or this is what we missed out on, or this is really, Patches, I'm going to have to read my notes here, baby. We're going to have to, we give ourselves that opportunity to say, here's the situation, right? Here's what's going on. We're giving ourselves, and society gives us that opportunity of mourning. When we end a relationship, there's a slightly different way of mourning, right? Sometimes it's with a lot of wine, tequila, Ben and Jerry's. Oh yeah. I would be one with the donut, the cookie dough. Yeah. So there's lots of things that happen in that respect, but we sort of mourn in a different way. When we have a loss of a pet, when I lost, which I kind of think that Smudge, the kitten that we lost earlier this year, I think was his cousin or possibly sibling, like half sibling kind of thing. And I mean, it was a kitten that wasn't quite a year old, and he was very, very skittish of people, but he was getting closer and closer to coming to me. And when he died, I just was like, I just had wanted to take care of him. And I was like, come back to me. This time we'll work it out. And now I got Patches. But the thing is, even society allows us to mourn for our pets. Not as long as we need to. And let me just emphasize that. I have two-legged children. But on my phone, on my screensaver, is still my first 4-legged child. I know. And he passed 8 years ago. So, you just have those things. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about ways that we can mourn, ways that we can, I don't want to say set up a shrine to the past, but we need to acknowledge it. And if you need to set up some sort of shrine, headstone, then you should do it. You should do some sort of monument. I made a monument to Smudge, the kitten that we lost, in my yard. And because it's a place where it's a place I love. It's a place where I get a lot of growth. So, it's, to me, that was an important place to do it. Seriously, Patches, come on, man. Oh, and now he's going to just be right here. Isn't this great? So, we're still getting to know each other, Patches and I are. I wish he would just lay over here like Badger does, but we're just going to. There you go. Look, baby. You got the whole area. Okay? Yeah. I know. Mommy needs her area. Okay? I make notes. God love him. He's so sweet. So anyway, what we're going to do is we are going to talk about this, and we're going to just look at what is it that we need to, how do we need to mark that and mark it in a positive way, you know, and even if it is ending a relationship and you don't want to carry the bitterness around in your mouth, but because it'll start to affect everything. However, if you can, once you can get past that initial bitterness, and there's bitterness even when somebody passes away, right? We get pissed off. Why them? Why what? Blah, 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 blah. Why me? Why did this happen? I, didn't want to lose whomever. And it's hard. It's really, really hard. The thing is, we need to, once we let go of the bitterness and we start marking that friendship, that relationship, that attachment, whatever we had to that person, place, or thing, we need to mark it with something that gives us not closure, but gives us something that we can look back on it and go, okay, that relationship wasn't a mistake. It was learning. I got this from that relationship. This is how I feel. This is how I felt during that time. Maybe I didn't feel that way at the end, but this is how I felt. If we're marking something with a person that passed, or I'm going to just go ahead and use Tammy in this example because she's mentioned it. Yeah, and he's sweet. And he is adorable, Sherry Ann. But talking about Tammy, her son lost a limb in a terrible, terrible accident earlier this year. Or was it late last year? It was late last year, wasn't it, Tammy? So let's talk about that. That limb gave him support for a very long time, for however many days, however many years, and now he has to learn to live without it. This is now something he's carrying, but he can be grateful for the things that he did. He can be grateful for the experiences he had, and now he can say, okay, where can I go to have a new experience? How can I have a new experience with this replacement? And it's not exactly a replacement. It is, but it isn't. It's new counterpart, I think, is a better way to put it. Sorry, I'm listening to spirit guides come in here. So this is where we sit back and go, okay, how do we do this? Renee says, have a family member lost his wife of 30 years to a heart attack in her sleep. He didn't mourn like we thought he should. He was in a relationship in 3 weeks. Okay. Renee, we don't know what is going on in his mind. He may be just wigging out, or he may have already left that relationship before she passed. We don't know. So it's hard to say, like, how, we think people should mourn or how we think they should do their grieving. I'm not saying that that was the right thing for him to do. I mean, I'm from the South. I think that's a little tacky, but what we do need to address is that was his wife of 30 years. Okay. So what was their relationship like? And had he already checked out of the relationship? You put things into perspective like that. And if you were close to his wife, then maybe it's up to you to mourn. Maybe it's up to you to mourn her. I know. Some people like to cling to their mourning. Some people like to hold on to that shit. Kind of scary. But, I've done it a time or two. I'm not going to lie. But, eventually I'm just enough of, well, I'm a Virgo, I'm like, all right, enough of that. We got to move on. So, I have a shelf with a box of Alice's pig paw print favorite toy. Oh my God, gosh, and her ashes. I love that. I know I have boxes of ashes around from 2 dogs and a cat, and boy, he's just going to town. I mean, he's just going to clean himself right here on the screen with you people. I love it. And he's leaving his little hair everywhere. Hey, you know, why don't you just smile at the camera and not, this is not nice, Patches. By the way, the boys want to rename him Mouse. So we may be renaming him Mouse. He looks like a mouse a little bit. Thank you, Lance. You know, way to a girl's heart. Pretty awesome, aren't they? I know. I know, look, Barb, it's just like, he's just so funny. Badger is laid out like third base over there. He's just like, somebody's usurped my place. Seriously, we're not cleaning our privates on camera. Cut it out. Really. So, tonight we are going to be talking about bringing in some healing wisdom from tree magic. All right, I picked a couple of trees, and let me tell you why I picked these trees. Because I felt like they were sort of common in a lot of areas, you know. Hey, Jen Stratman, you're getting snow tomorrow? Oh, no, it's fine, Jen. Just put plastic over your plants. You'll be fine. Seriously. Jen's in Colorado. Okay, so the trees that I picked, birch, because I felt like a lot of areas that I'm communicating with all you people, that there would be a birch tree somewhere around. Also, I picked the cedar tree because I just really, really love cedar. I'm in Georgia. Tammy, right outside of Atlanta. And right close to Villa Rica, Georgia, where the lovely Realistic Holistic is. I had to get my shameless plug-in, Lance. You know, come on. And then Lance, I think, is in Florida, and Jen Stratman is in Colorado. Kelsey's in Nebraska. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Nebraska's awfully close to Denver. Hey, Karen. Yeah, oh my gosh, birch trees they're so regal. So let me tell you the other reason I picked these trees. The birch tree, it has a bunch of attributes, a bunch of powers, and you know, a lot of attributes here. But what really hit home with me when I was like doing my research for this is the fact that it does purification, release, and beside release is let go and move on, and then renewal. I think that's really, really important, because I think if we're going to do that sort of magic with the tree, letting go and moving on, it's like allowing us to do that. Again, with the mourning process. I also really liked that it had healing effects, and where was the other one? Oh, it overcomes obstacles. Loving that. Yeah. The other one that I picked when I actually picked like several, but I think I'm just going to do 2. The cedar. The cedar also was like removing and warding off negativity. And I felt like that was really important, because sometimes we do get in a negative place, like Tammy was saying, with like depression, when we're going through mourning, or we're just hitting that sadness. And I think warding off some of the negativity would be really good for this. Also, cedar is a really great emotional support. Cedar lends help with emotional work and specifically dealing with emotional support. So I really, really, I love that. If a willow ain't on this list, I'd like to nominate it. Okay. Now, as Patsy Cline says, she sees a weeping willow crying on its pillow. Notice I'm not going to sing. I sing on like so many of our other shows. I drive Rachel crazy when we're doing our weekly forecast and when we're recording for discovering Oracle and Tarot. And I'm like, and I start singing and I'm like, I'm going to stop. You know, and you get the side eye from Rachel. I'm sorry. It's just a crack up. You know, sometimes I have to do stuff on purpose to get the side eye from Rachel. Which is great. So, I'm just going to stick with those two primarily because I felt like it was just really important. So let's start with the birch tree. Okay. So its symbol is birth and renewal. Birch helps us to learn from the past, especially when we're making a fresh start, which is something that I wanted to address. I mean, because people will be like, oh, that relationship was such a mistake, or that was such a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have, now I have to mourn the loss of this relationship that I should have never been in to begin with. No. You have to make mistakes along the way, right? I mean, you have to fuck up. If you don't mess up, then how do you know what's the better part? How do you know what's the better choice? So I like this because the birch helps us to learn from the past, especially when we're making a fresh start. To aid in this, place a couple of small birch twigs on your altar during times of transition to help aid in healing with personal growth. Larger twigs can be used like a broom to symbolically sweep and clear away the negative energy. You can do this before a ritual to provide protection during magic work or like after. Same thing. Birch is instrumental for focusing the mind and developing the intuition. Okay, so what we're going to do is you can do this several different ways. We can use, I know, my gosh, he was going to town, wasn't he, Lance? I mean, I'm so, Jasmine's laid out here showing her belly to the world. You can't see it until I move, but yeah, I'm like, are you okay, Jasmine? I think she's hot down here too. But that's okay. We got an air conditioner man coming next week. Jennifer's office is going to have air conditioning this summer. Woo-hoo! I'm very excited. I feel like she's excited too. So I just lost my train of thought with these animals. So let's talk about what we can do with the birch. We can take pieces of birch leaf, hold it between your palms, and focus the energy before a divination session. You can also use pieces of bark in a little bag for love spells. It's not one of my favorite ones. I really like love spells. But you can place a twig under your bed to add and aid in fertility. I don't want to do that because I am turning 50 this year and the baby factory has shut down. I ain't doing that again. You can burn a few small pieces of bark for purification. Aha! Now, this is the one that I have a big star beside. That's why I did the aha. Do you love it? Carrie Rodriguez with La Hermosa Bruja sells these awesome abalone shells that you can use for smudges. And I recommend getting one. Actually, I recommend getting several. But not just because she's selling them. I think everybody should have at least one abalone shell, maybe 2 or 4, whatever. So mine is sitting back here. I don't know if you can see it in all that mess of jars and bowls and sand and candles. A lot of witch shit back there. So a great thing to do with this would be to take your birch and put it in an abalone shell and smudge, burn it, burn your house with it. I mean, not exactly smudge, but you know, you're using it in your house. I'm not opening the door. He's gonna wait until I get like live and show his ass. Literally, because he just cleaned his ass in front of everybody. So if we're gonna purify or bless a project, a relationship, a new home, or when we're making that fresh start, burning pieces of birch, burning pieces of bark of birch is going to be great, especially if you put it in an abalone shell. If you don't have an abalone shell, just use a fire safe dish. I've got several of them, and of course none of them are like right to my hand. I've got several of them. You know, metal, glass, just something that's fire safe. Hell, use a cauldron. Use a cast iron skillet. I've done that in a pinch. I have pulled out my great grandmother's cast iron skillet. Yes, I still use it. And I have carried it around and just like blown all the energy off of whatever I was burning. Just letting you know. So bark is really easy to peel off of a birch. I'm just letting you know, because it has like a really smooth side on it. So this is the great thing about the birch tree. You can write on that shit. So when you peel the bark off of the birch tree, you can actually just take a Sharpie, an ink pen, a quill with blood of an ox. Kidding. Don't be cutting up an ox. I'm just joking. That was a joke. But you know, really just use a Sharpie and write on the birch skin, write on the birch bark, what it is that you're releasing, what it is that you're mourning, what it is that you're having a new start in, what it is that you're putting out there. Okay. Hey, Suzanne, thanks for joining us. Oh my gosh, Kathy, what a great idea. Just wrap them like you would sage and use it as a smudge. That's awesome. I like that. I know. So, you know, and it's great. That's spell work, you know, putting that on the birch, birch bark. I keep wanting to say birch skin because I feel like birch bark is a little more skin-like than bark-like. Just food for thought. So, if you have someone in your life that you are trying to help with some mourning, then why don't you give them a piece of birch bark and a Sharpie as a present and say, okay, we're going to start the mourning process. Let's tell that person, place, or thing how much we appreciated it, how much we're going to miss it, but it's time for us to move on. And it's time to send that relationship that we had to the light, and both of us need to embrace a new part. Okay? I'm still not sending my 97 Toyota to the junkyard. I don't know where she's going to go next, but she's not going to the junkyard yet. Just saying. I might be a stubborn Virgo. There's a slim possibility of that. Well, there's no slim about it. I mean, but you know, this is good. So you can think about that. And then after they do that with the birch bark, burn it together. And then you can always get some more birch bark and put in an abalone shell or a dish or, you know, a cast iron skillet, whatever, just as long as it's fire safe. And then you can say, all right, now we have a renewal. However, if you want to have a separate one for them as an act of a renewal, you can also use the cedar. So you can use these in conjunction with each other. or you can use them separately. You know, it's just, I was trying to pick trees that I could think about, like where, you know, people were, and it would be good. Find an old lady to buy it. Oh my gosh. Do you think an old lady would like my 97? I mean, you know, in some certain situations, people could call me an old lady. Not nice ones. Hey, Courtney. Hey, Courtney. Okay, so let's go to the cedar tree. All right. So where we are with the cedar tree, as I was saying about the cedar tree, the one thing that I was like really, really loving about the cedar tree is it has, it deals with emotions and, hang on just a second. I've lost my, there it is. It deals with emotions and emotional support. So when we are mourning something, this is our emotional support, is the cedar. Now, this also, let's think about this in terms of when I keep saying person, place, or thing that we're releasing. We may be actively choosing to release this. We may be actively choosing to end this relationship. And it could be a relationship with a job. It could be a relationship with a friend. It could be a relationship with a family member. Because let's face it, there are people out there that are toxic to us that are related to us, or somebody that we're in a long-term relationship with, or maybe our job is toxic. Put all of this into context, okay? We still need emotional support. And even when you are choosing to release something, you still need to mourn it, because you're going to miss it. You're going to miss the thing that you had around all the time, that person, place, or thing, right? Right, Jasmine? I know. Oh, that's so sweet, Kelsey. She needed just to run around town. It's another reason I don't Virgo like me. Ha ha. Drunk Helen Keller. That's funny. I like that, Suzanne. Okay. So where we are here, with back to the cedar. Okay, with cedar, it's emotional support. It also helps with family and home. It helps remove and ward off negativity from the healing process. It's also with renewal, release, and let go. So let's go through some spell work here. Okay, cedar is especially effective for purification. Use a cedar bough to symbolically sweep ritual areas like your workspace or even your tools, and store a small sprig with your magic tools to have them ready for use. I like that. I love cedar. Burn a small piece of cedar wood or incense to support focus and clarity for clairvoyance or any type of divination. The aroma enhances psychic protection for those practices as well. Use cedar to remove negativity, break hexes, or remove anything unwanted from your life. Again, this is perfect for releasing. Okay, so the scent of cedar wood stimulates dream work and strengthens psychic abilities. It aids in finding peace of mind and fostering tranquility in the home. Use foliage in spells to attract. No, I'm not even going to put that out there. To encourage someone to be faithful. And I'm not just talking about a lover here. I'm talking about anyone that you do need to be faithful, because we do have unfaithful friends, don't we? We have unfaithful, like, family members. We definitely have unfaithful coworkers. And I mean loyal, I guess, instead of faithful. Yeah. Any part of the cedar can be used to communicate with spirits. Use this cedar at Embolic, which is a Wiccan holiday. And you guys know I'm not Wiccan, but I love me some Wiccans. They're so much fun. And to represent coming into the light from the darkness, cedar also aids healing and personal growth. Carry an amulet made of cedar wood when seeking justice, especially in legal matters. Now, when we are purifying, it is wonderful to smudge with cedar, which is the next thing I have on here. I like to smudge with cedar because it lasts a long time. It's an evergreen, man. So it'll smoke and smoke and smoke and smoke until the cows come home. So I really like to use it because I can practically get through my entire house. And it's a small house, but I can get through my house like with some cedar, with a branch of cedar, without having to relight it like over and over and over again. It's kind of nice. So let's talk about meditating with the cedar, putting it on our altar as well, just like we did with the birch. The cedar bark is a little bit trickier because you can't write on it. Have you seen that shit? It's a little prickly. It's a little flaky. Not so easy, but it's good to burn. You can do it. You can do it. I did dry the cedar out somewhat, Tammy. I'll be honest with you. I was a little impatient. And I was just like, light her up. But I love that fragrance, and I love like spreading it, the smoke around. So it was really awesome. But super dry cedar, yeah, it'll burn. I dry it maybe about half-assed before I burn it. I just can't wait. Come on. Sometimes you just need to smudge your house. Am I right? So sometimes people will get into a depressed state over a loss, as we've been talking about in the chat. And that can bring about something that could seem like a hex. I got lipstick on my teeth again, y'all. Sorry. I'm so pretty. I mean, how can you guys not love this? I'm putting on my lipstick on the camera, and I'm like getting it off my teeth on the camera. I am just super attractive hottie here. Oh my gosh. Sorry. All right. Back to cedar. Seriously, back to cedar. I do really like to crunch up cedar and put it in my, like, mix up my little mismatch of smudge, because I just think it is so wonderful. By the way, I found the bag that Carrie sent me like a long time ago, and guess what it is? It's Release and Renew from La Hermosa Bruja. Now, I liked the bag so much, and I liked the smell of it, that what I've done is, you can see, like, this is a well-used bag. Like, I keep folding it back up, and like, it's all wrinkly because I just have been carrying it around for a long time. And then I put it back in a Ziploc. Well, it's an IKEA Ziploc to protect it. But I've re-added to this. So I've added cedar to this. Oh, lavender. I've added some rose petals, but this is her particular brand, and hers is, this one is Release and Renew. And I've added to it, so there's still a slim little bit of Carrie's original mixture in here, which I personally just love. But I've added because I was running out, so it's good. This is fantastic. So I found her bag, and this is what I like to keep my smudges in when I do make them. Now, I don't have like the really nice bags like Carrie does, so a lot of mine are in glass or in plastic, and you know, you just do what you got to do, right? But I would imagine, and I'll ask Carrie where she got these, because I was like, damn it, I know I have some left, or it's the remaining parts of hers, and there's a lot of Jennifer in that bag. But the things that I like to add are, I like to add lavender, I like to add rosemary. You guys know I use a lot of rosemary, but I do love some cedar, and I have separate bags for separate things. I have like a whole bunch of, you know, just a litany of different uses for these things. But using the cedar, I think, is just really, really powerful, because I love the purification aspect of it. And I love that, like, you see so many like cedar boughs like hung, you know, in people's houses, even when it's not Christmas. I know. But you know who those people are. It's good. Any tree bark that helps with physical pain. Oh, I'll look. Every kind of tree burns in California. Oh my gosh. But your lashes didn't cause you issues today. So there's something positive. There is something positive. I also had a really, really good session with an amazing acupuncturist today. So my hives are like getting better. I mean, I'm still like wearing long sleeves. I'm still like covering everything up. It's like finally hot in Georgia, and I'm wearing long sleeves and long pants in a non-air conditioned office. It's delightful. But the acupuncturist that I went to today, thank you, Rachel, was amazing. So she was just, yeah, she was really amazing. So, with the cedar, putting sprigs, putting it on your altar, putting it beside your bed is something that I like to do because it does help with your dream work. And sometimes it's the dreams that help you out. Sometimes it really is the dreams that help you out. I mean, let's face it. We get a lot of answers in our dreams, right? I mean, we get a lot of weird shit happen in our dreams. But, I mean, it's not fun when you like turn into bubble gum in your dream, but weird stuff happens. It's not unheard of, I guess, that we could turn into bubble gum. So, this is super fun. Yeah. So cedar and birch are my choices tonight. This book is also coming to you from, it's a book called Tree Magic. It's connecting with the spirit and wisdom of trees. And I really, really enjoy using this book. I enjoy like working with it. And when I was putting tonight's like stuff together, and I was like, I was going in a totally different direction of like how to help us mourn through a loss, or how to, here comes Badger. I mean, what's going on with the cats tonight? It's like, so if he starts cleaning himself, I'm going to have a cow. I mean, Patches has already cleaned himself in front of all of y'all, and now Badger's like, he's cleaning himself on camera. What is up with my boys? Come on. Hey, Shay. Maybe he won't clean his butt like Patches did. So, as I was saying, I was going in a different direction with helping us to mourn things that we are voluntarily releasing from our lives. Situations, relationships, person, places, or things that we are voluntarily releasing from our lives, from that full moon to that new moon, when we should be releasing anyway. When we are releasing those things and we are mourning them, or we should be mourning them. And I was walking around outside, and I was like, I saw my little, I don't want to say monument, I don't want to say headstone, but my marker for the cat that we lost, for Smudge, for his life. I just put something in my yard that reminds me of him, because I just don't want him to feel like he was ever forgotten. Does that make sense? And because we had him for such a short amount of time, and he was a stray, and he wouldn't, it took me months just to let me near him enough that I could touch him, but he wouldn't let me pick him up. He bit me when I picked him up. He loved Badger. I mean, who doesn't love Badger, right? Oh, no, look at that foot. But I looked around, and then I realized there's a tree right there next to my marker. And I didn't realize that, like, when I put the marker down, and I went, a tree. And so then I came back, and I'm looking at my books, and I was like, I know I have books on tree wisdom, tree magic. So that's why we went in this direction. So I sort of changed my tune this afternoon. And I feel like working with the magic of the trees, working with the wisdom of the trees is actually very helpful when we are going through this mourning process, because trees are a great witness, right? They witness everything. They see everything. They see the complete cycle. They see the birth and the death. They see it all, and they're really good witnesses. And now it's, we have to step in and take charge of our mourning and say, we appreciate you. We appreciate this thing that happened. I appreciate this person, place, or thing, this relationship, this job, whatever. And just say, but I'm releasing you because we no longer serve each other, and let it go. It is not easy. I don't want you to think that it's easy, but I also don't want you to think that when people say you need to release what no longer serves you, absolutely, you do need to do that. But don't forget to mourn it, even if it was something that was toxic to you. Because I have friends that are recovering addicts, recovering alcoholics, and they released their drug of choice. They let it go, and they were like, but I got to tell you, sometimes, I miss fill in the blank. And they go, but it's no longer serving me. So sometimes I have to release it again. Sometimes I have to let it go again, that relationship that I had. But when they look back and they go, I've been re-releasing that relationship for so many years, and then they think, do I really miss it though anymore? Then they go through another process where they're just like, they have to mourn the missing. I know it sounds very inventive, but I'm not making this shit up. So I just want you guys to see that making mistakes along the way, if you feel like a relationship or a job or whatever it is that you are releasing was a mistake, it wasn't. It brought you to where you needed to be. So we just have to thank it and say thank you and release it. And I think that's a really great way to do it with the birch bark, is like pulling the bark from the birch and writing on it with a magic marker and then burning it. And then you can come behind and purify and get some emotional balance and some emotional support from the cedar if you burn that. And make sure you thank the tree for giving you that opportunity. I just want to point that out. Make sure you thank the tree. It wasn't in the book, but I like to thank the trees anyway. So these cats have just messed up my office. They just knocked shit down. Just, I mean, I had to get a microphone stand that was not sitting on my desktop because they kept knocking it down. So now I have this awesome microphone stand that moves. I'm a DJ. I'm an old time disc jockey, for a radio station. Yeah. No, you know who I am? I'm Bobby, because Bobby does this on his show. He has one of these mic arms. It's so cool. Seriously, trees are so healing. I literally hug trees and think, yes. I tell people all the time, if they need to get grounded, to just go touch a tree. Go find the biggest tree that they can and get grounded. Now, here's a little kicker. On Sunday, when we have this fourth quarter moon, on Sunday, the 22nd of May, when we have this fourth quarter moon in Pisces, very emotional sign, right? Water. Mercury is going back into Taurus because, Mercury is retrograde right now. So with Mercury going retrograde, he's gone back into Taurus. And when Mercury is in Taurus, we all get in our heads about our stuff. We all get back into our heads about what if, what could I change? What could I have done better? It's all my fault. I'm the cause of all this, blah, 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 blah. We get in our heads about it when Mercury is in Taurus. I just want you to be aware, and you need to get grounded during this time. So going and touching a big tree is going to be awesome. I planted 3 new trees in my backyard, a crabapple, a maple, and a ginkgo. Really? I already had 2 spruce and 2 locusts and 1 apple. Wow! That's awesome. Oh my gosh, I walk around barefoot outside when I need to ground. Yes, Kelsey. Oh my gosh. Walking around barefoot outside is fantastic. But there's a lot of people that do not like to touch like the dirt with their bare feet. And I'm not judging. That's absolutely fine. I'm just saying that, you know, you can touch a big tree if you need to instead of walking around barefoot. But I do like walking around barefoot. That'd just be so great. Oh my gosh. And I certainly hope you guys try these things. I want to make sure that you give yourself time to mourn things that you are releasing. That is an important component in this. It is important to release from time to time things that no longer serve us, just like it's important to clean out our closets from time to time. And don't get me started. I'm not even going to talk about my closet right now. It's a mess. It's a big, bad Virgo mess. It's driving me crazy. Anyway, I digress. But when we release, it's very important to mourn. Okay? So give yourself that time. Give yourself that permission to mourn that person, place, or thing. Whatever it is that you're putting out there. Say goodbye to it properly. Mark it with like some sort of, I don't want to say a monument, but mark it with a marker. Put a pin in it and say, this was a part of my life and it's not anymore, but it's okay. It's okay to have. So it's okay to have a picture of a house that burned down. It's okay to have a picture of you dancing if you can no longer do so. It's important for you to bring about those things, like have that snapshot or have that marker for it. But you don't have to create a monument that will never let you let it go. Okay? And hey, Tammy says she's heading up to her cottage this weekend. So apparently there's a lot of birch trees around. So if we need some birch skin, some birch bark, we'll just send Tammy out into the big old woods and be like, strip them damn trees down and mail us some birch bark. I'm sorry. I'm not volunteering you for that, Tammy. I'm just joking. I just thought that was funny. I know. Need to look at the benefits of walnut trees. Okay, so I have weeping willow and walnut trees. I will put that in for next time. This is a rather large book. It has like 60 or more trees in it. So, yeah, I went through them and I didn't go through all 60 of them, or 60 or more, but I let Spirit tell me which ones to pull. The name of the trees, hey, I can hold it up. It is Tree Magic by Sandra Kynes. I was really afraid that I was going to mispronounce her name, so I didn't want to butcher her name. This is a fantastic book. It's wonderful. It's just... It's really an amazing book. Connecting with the spirit and wisdom of trees. I have a lot of books like this. But I let Spirit give me some really great guidance in this. And it has a lot of information in this, people. So I don't know. I don't know where I got this from. So it's probably available on Amazon. I'm not selling it in my Amazon store, but, you know, is probably available on Amazon. So I hope you guys enjoy this fourth quarter moon. It's going to be a little bit lighter than it was last week with that lunar eclipse. Actually, I can't even believe it was this week. It feels like that lunar eclipse is the gift that keeps on giving. Am I right? I mean, my gosh, has it stopped? Has that lunar eclipse energy stopped yet? And in fact, I'm hearing no, it's not going to stop until later this summer. So that lunar eclipse energy, that lunar eclipse in Scorpio that we had, that blood moon, Sunday night, early Monday morning, the gift that keeps on giving. But this fourth quarter moon with the moon in Pisces, Mercury returning to Taurus, is going to be a little bit lighter, still emotional. We're still in a water sign here. We're still in Pisces, but this is going to be fantastic. Don't let all of this get in your head, and don't stay in your head with it. Go touch a big tree. It'll be fantastic. You guys are so welcome. I'm so glad you enjoyed this. The hospital was nuts on Monday, and the doc blamed the moon. Yeah, a friend of mine was complaining about people today. Told her it was retrograde, and she goes, "That's it." Yeah, seriously. Mercury, Pluto, Saturn's getting ready to go retrograde, which can't wait to talk about that on the weekly forecast. And see what cards Rachel pulls on that, dude. Seriously, and then. You know, we've just got all this crazy stuff happening with this eclipse energy. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you again to La Hermosa Bruja and Mystic Path LLC for letting me post on your channels. You guys rock the Casbah. And we will see you guys next week. And oh, thank you guys, the few of you that joined. There was a few of you from this in here that joined me last night when we are starting to learn about the tarot, and it's a show called In the Tarot. So next week we are definitely going to go a little bit deeper, but we're going to go a little bit deeper every week. It's just going to be fun, super fun. Everybody's going to be doing their own reading soon. All right, I'll see you guys later, and until then, get out there and make your magic.